Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of MinArt's British M3 Lee build. Scale is 1:35. In part 3 I concentrated on the upper hull and put all the components together for that. So in part 4 I'm going to be concentrating on the wheels and track. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. As you can see there, I've already cut out the parts and ready to assemble for the wheels, and this is the suspension system. First of all, the first part I'm placing in is the tension bar that separates both parts of the suspension arm. It's crucial that only one end is cemented in first before assembling the actual whole arm. It just makes it a lot easier to place in. Now there is an argument to be made that you can do this little bar at the end, but it's so small and thin it's better to do it now. In fact, the instructions suggest that you do it now anyway. And then I can place on the wheel. Now these were very tight and I had to squeeze them on quite firmly. Be careful when you're doing this that you don't actually break the tension bar, because that can just lean over onto the wheel, and if you put any pressure on it, it will snap. And then the other half then goes on, so that lays on the top and lines up with the bar. The tension bar then can be manoeuvred into place, or if it's straight enough, it can just be placed right in without having to manoeuvre it. It depends how it's sitting at by the time you place the second part on. Next is the wishbone section, or the arm, and this gets placed in between. I'm not exactly sure what the part's called, but it looks like two sort of hydraulic canister container type things that go sit in between. And then that goes into the front armament part of the wheel. Now you can have this free moving if you want, but it will make it extremely difficult to construct, because everything will have to be sandwiched in between in one go with very small connection points. So I cemented mine in position. So once that was in, it was time to add the actual wheel itself. Each section has two wheels, and there's the upper guiding wheel at the top as well, and you can place these all in one go if you wish, or do it separately like I'm doing. Again, I'm cementing them in place. If you want the tracks moving, just be careful where you are placing the cement, especially on the top wheel, which I'm putting in now. And then the second wheel goes in. The location points of these are very small, so you don't need a lot of cement at all for it. But once they're in place, then you can put on the top cover, the same cover that it was for the opposite side. It's held together onto the side of the hull with two brackets, which I'm placing on here now. The instructions say place it onto the hull first before placing your wheels into position. But I had a look at this and I thought it's better to put the brackets on now, then the whole unit then can get attached to the side of the hull. So moving on to the main end wheels now. So these are the guiding wheels. They do have a photo etch part, so if you can see there, just lying on the mat waiting to go on, and of course there's a little hubcap to go on as well. So I'm putting on the rim now, and I'm attaching this using just a little bit of super glue, not the PVA glue, because I wanted an instant bond with these, so they didn't fall off as I was building the actual wheels up. And then the main drive wheels, there's a little socket that goes in between the two halves. This is just to hold it onto the pin or on the side of the truck or of the tank. be careful of the location. Make sure it fits. It could be a little bit tight. You may have to open it up a little bit if that's the case. Mine was all right. I needed a firm hand to push it in, but because I wasn't having my tracks moving, that didn't matter. If you want them moving, you will have to open up this hole a little bit, so you're going to have free movement. And then it was just a simple case of sandwiching the two parts together. Now it's on to the tracks. Now these require a lot of work to build up. As you can see there, I'm cutting them off this sprue at the moment. There is a top and a bottom part to this section that I'm building. So I've taken them all off, just the bottom part, and then I'm proceeding just to clean them up. And this is why I didn't prime these beforehand at the start of the video, because it requires a lot of work to clean up, so I would be taking most of the primer off anyway. It's easier to build these actually on the sprue. However, the way I was making them is slightly different to what the instructions were saying. And in fact, the way I was doing them actually creates more work. But I prefer to do the way I was doing it. But I shall go into that in a moment. As you can see, I'm building on the sprue. I thought it would be easier to do it this way. Then I'm taking a pencil and I'm marking each one up. This just shows me which ones are the top and the bottom. I didn't do this initially at the start, but I thought, oh no, I better mark these up so I know what the top and the bottom is. So the next part of the track are the connecting pins. Now the instructions say put these in before you sandwich the two together. There's a little nub of plastic on each pin right at the end for it to sit inside the track. This would make it quite difficult to build, in my opinion, a lot more fiddly to build, so I thought the two halves sandwiched together would be better first. However, it does mean that I had to take off each little nub of plastic on the pin. I done this just with using my side snippers, just taking off the very top edge of it before placing them in it. So I placed the two brackets side by side, and then just pushed in the actual pins. For me, it seemed easier that way. And as I went along, as you can see, I'm holding it with some locking tweezers, just to make it easier to handle. If you're going to try it my way, with sandwiching the two parts of the main link together first, just be aware that there is a danger of breaking off the pins on the main bracket. Now I only broke one, which was quite amazing really, because they're such small parts. But if you're not confident in doing it that way, do it with the instructions and just follow that guide instead. It's a little bit more difficult to build, in my opinion, and it will take longer, but you won't break the pins. So as you can see there, I'm carrying on building them. I've got a few done now. I'm not doing them all in one go. I'm just doing about 10-15 links at a time, and just building it up. Now this is an extremely long process to do. In fact, it took me around about 3 to 4 days to do both tracks. So it does take quite a while to do, and it's quite intense work. But it is worth doing, and it's quite rewarding afterwards. However you decide to do them, if you're building this kit, just be aware, allow a lot of time to do this part. Unless you've done this so many times it comes second nature to yourself, of course. Each builder to their own style, of course. So with me, it took a little while, so just bear that in mind if you're building tracks like this. These tracks are the most intricate I've built so far on a tank. I've never had to build the whole track like this. I've had to link individual links together before. Min kits are like that, but to actually build the entire track from its individual components, it is quite rare, but very, very satisfying to do. And this is where I'll end part 4. As you can see, I've still got a few more to do. I'm just linking all them in now from all the little subsections that I've done, and until I get up the whole track. The thing consists of 79 links on each side. And as I'm going along, I'm just checking to make sure that the pins are not too far in or too far out as well. So I'm using the wheel as a guide. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? There may be something there that will hold your interest. If you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and you'll be kept up to date with all my upcoming builds. Don't forget to leave a comment. It's always appreciated when you comment on my builds. I always try and reply to them as well. Hit that like button, and of course don't forget to share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.